We are seeing a huge green day today, February 23rd, and today I just wanted to talk about the general cryptocurrency news as well as my predictions on what's going to happen to Bitcoin in this bull market that we have been seeing over the past few days. And this is a follow-up to my video that I did make about us entering the bull market on the short term. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this video and let's get right into it. So first off, just taking a quick look here at CoinMarketCap, you can see that pretty much everything, all of the top coins are up today, mainly because of the moves made by Bitcoin and Ethereum, getting to above 4,000 on Bitcoin and above 150 on Ethereum. Now we are seeing some of the altcoins follow, although you will notice that for the most part, aside from a few outliers, altcoins are generally a bit slower right now as they are waiting for Bitcoin to slow down before making their moves, as they are generally traded against Bitcoin for the most part. If we look at the biggest gainers in the past 24 hours, you will see that we are seeing some moves from ONT as well as Quantum and a few other coins, although really I think the next few days, if we do maintain these higher prices, will be much more exciting for altcoins. Now, going into Bitcoin, I wanted to talk about a few of the reasons why Bitcoin is moving. I made a video a few days ago talking about how the ETF decision could possibly come on February 27th. However, I do have some updates about that, as well as the Ethereum hard fork. So obviously the Ethereum hard fork is one of the main factors, the main driving factors for the bullish Ethereum. That does not really correlate to Bitcoin. Obviously there has to be some other reason for Bitcoin to be making these large gains. And so after more research, I did determine that February 27th was not necessarily the ETF decision date for Bitcoin. Actually, what ended up happening is last year, February 27th was the last day that the SEC could decide on the ETF. However, more recently, due to them making changes to the ETF and resubmitting it, they do have around 45 days from February 20th to respond to the ETF. So basically what I'm saying is there's a very low chance that we're going to hear anything about the ETF on February 27th. Basically, the only reason why it's been moving right now is on other news aside from the ETF. And one of those things is the Nasdaq index. Nasdaq is actually releasing a Bitcoin and Ethereum index or performance tracker on February 25th, and you might be saying, well, it's just an index, how can it be that important? Although you do have to remember that Nasdaq is, I think, the second highest volume exchange in the entire world, and even just an index is going to allow a lot of people to watch Bitcoin and see how it's moving. It might even convince some people to enter into Bitcoin. So I think the Nasdaq index could be very, very important, and I do think there are some great articles talking about why the Nasdaq index might have more influence than you could initially think. And I did just want to talk about very quickly between the difference between an index, an ETF, and futures, as I think that can confuse some people. And some people might be asking, why is the Nasdaq index not just as important as the ETF? And so pretty much an index is a performance tracker. And an example of an index would be something like the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial, and indexes are not directly tradable. You cannot directly trade the S&P 500. However, you can trade it through futures. So pretty much all you can do through an index is just watch prices, and then you can trade futures for indexes, such as we have already seen with Bitcoin futures, as well as S&P 500 futures. But the one main important thing, the reason why ETFs are so important, is because with the Bitcoin ETF, once the ETF is physically settled, they will actually have to buy Bitcoin when someone buys shares of the ETF. Meaning that an ETF can actually affect the price of Bitcoin, whereas whenever you are trading futures, it is just a synthetic contract, and you're not really trading real Bitcoin. You're not buying Bitcoin whenever you buy a future. It doesn't directly affect the price, and so that's why it's important to differentiate between an index, a future, and a ETF, which is the most important one, and which is the one that everyone has been so excited about. So now that I got that over with, I do want to talk about Bitcoin's move today and what my predictions are. We are in this critical zone right here of high resistance from Bitcoin, as this was the most recent high after we did see this huge bearish move. So I think this could be very, very important zone. And obviously we are seeing that right now with heavy resistance from the selling point. We are stuck at around 4,100 right now. Hopefully whenever I put up this video, we will have broken through, but I'm not sure what's going to happen. Hopefully I'm going to get this up as fast as possible. Now, currently, I personally am entered into a position. I do have a stop loss right below this move, so I have a stop loss around right here, and my current target is around 4,600, as I personally think that we are going to have 5,000 as a major resistance from this move, and that's just due to historical data. I think the high on one of the previous Bitcoin crashes before the huge move up to 20,000 was 5,000. And so that's why I think 5,000 is going to be the high of this move. However, I think 4,600 is a little bit safer, and that's why I entered a position in this zone. Now, the only thing that scares me about this move is that if we don't see enough volume in the zone that we are currently in, then we could possibly move down. And then due to this uptrend that I did draw right here, where we have tested it 2 times, as you can see right here, I think that we could fall down a little bit more, retest this trend line, and then finally test this 4,100 or 4,200 zone and hopefully break through it. So obviously that would hit stop loss on my position. That would be a little bit scary for me personally. Although overall, I do think that we are bullish on the short term. I do think that we are going to get somewhere higher in the 5,000 or 4,600 level. I think that is definitely my target here. Now, obviously, that is just for Bitcoin. I think Ethereum could be a different story in my personal opinion. If you do look at Ethereum here, one of the main things fueling Ethereum right now, like I talked about earlier, is the Ethereum hard fork or the Ethereum upgrade to the network, which is making this very, very bullish move on Ethereum right now. And it was actually leading Bitcoin and becoming bullish, which was quite impressive to see. Now, the one big thing about Ethereum is that if you do look at the historical data way back here, you can see these 2 zones that we did have from a previous Ethereum resistance and support point, and we have now used that in the more recent market, as you can see right here, as the low and the high of our most recent Ethereum move. And that is why this is such an important zone, because as we do have this bullish news from Ethereum, we have seen this uptrend similar to Bitcoin, and I think this retest of this major resistance point right here that we are now testing right now for a second time could possibly result in a bigger move than we do see on Bitcoin. And my personal target or goal or hope for this move is that we do get back into the zone of around $200 to $250. Now, obviously, I think if Bitcoin completely crashes from the $4,100 point, then maybe that won't happen. It's really dependent on Bitcoin. However, if Bitcoin does seem to have some more momentum in it, if we can get a little bit higher on Bitcoin, then I think a $200 target on Ethereum could definitely be possible, and I would definitely watch Ethereum for more movement than Bitcoin because of its news and because of the momentum that it does have behind it right now. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully you did learn about the new things that are going on with Bitcoin and why this move is happening, and hopefully you now have a plan on how to trade this move and hopefully profit from it. Make sure to do your own research before entering in any of your own positions, and thank you guys so much for watching this video.